Welcome back to Miller Family Wine School. I'm your host, Wes Hagen. I'm the consulting winemaker, brand ambassador for the Miller Family Wine Company. Come visit us at millerfamilywines.com, millerfamilywinecompany.com, millerfamilywineclub.com. And today we're going to be talking about a little bit about how to taste wine. So the fundamental question is, when someone puts a glass of wine in front of you, the first question you ask is, does it smell like something you want to drink? And when you drink it, does it taste like you want to drink more? That's 90% of it. Then it gets more complicated, as Emile Peynaud, famous French enologist, said. Fundamental problem of wine: you put one wine in front of me, you ask the fundamental question, do I like it? You put two wines in front of me, that changes the fundamental question to, which one of these wines do I prefer? So that was what kind of we call a beauty contest. If you want to taste 10 wines and find your favorite, that's going to change the wine. But let's start by just talking about the one wine in front of us. So first of all, the question is, should you swirl, should you evaluate, or should you drink? Well, the way I look at it is there's a time and a place for everything. If I'm playing golf, I'm not going to work on my swing. I'm going to go out, I'm going to execute, I'm going to have fun, and that's what I'm going to do. If I'm going to practice golf, that's a whole different thing. So I look at practicing wine as learning to evaluate, going to classes, watching videos like what you're watching right now. And then when we drink wine, I kind of like to shut the heck up about wine and just enjoy. And I call it the, shutting up and enjoying, right? Just living in the moment and not being critical. You can be as critical as you want, but I've never really found much pleasure in listening to someone be critical about a wine. If you want to know how professionals judge wine from sort of an academic perspective, we swirl the wine to excite it on a molecular basis, to excite the molecules and to make them create a little more vapor in the bowl of the glass. So we're swirling the glass. If you don't know how to swirl, you might want to start by putting your wine on a firm object and just swirling it slightly. Then get your nose nice and deep in the bowl of the glass, take a nice big whiff, and just ask yourself, you don't need to go through apricot, orange peel, banana. If you want to really write these things down and teach yourself how to evaluate and how to use all these aromas that we see on this aroma wheel, you can buy an aroma wheel from UC Davis. You can buy a bunch of books. I would recommend Wine Folly. I would recommend Karen McNeil's Wine Bible. I think owning those two books, if you own Wine Folly and the Wine Bible, you've got a really good start to learn all the more technical aspects of wine tasting. But what I'm going to teach you today is, don't worry, open a bottle of wine, enjoy it, and drink it with friends. That is not the time. Great wine should lead to a conversation about everything except itself. Wine should lead to a conversation about zoology. Wine should philosophy, politics, and religion if you have to. But it's really, really important to allow the wine to just have an organoplectic sort of impact. Just let it hit your palate, hit your nose. Think, that's what Cabernet Sauvignon tastes like. Okay, I'll remember that. Now, if you want to remember the wine that you're drinking, remember there's alcohol in it. Maybe you get a little notebook and make some notes about the wines that you taste. Sometimes that's helpful. What I find is I rarely go back to those notebooks to read what I've written about wines, but it's just the process of writing down what I learn that helps me actually remember it. So again, love what you drink what you love. Don't worry too much about how to drink wine, but if you need to know how to evaluate wine, we swirl, we sniff, we might make a comment like, ooh, that smells good, or ooh, I smell maybe a little bit of, like, reminds me of strawberry now and laters. Maybe I'm aging, kind of dating myself, but you don't have to make a comment about the wine. You could say, it smells fresh, it smells fruity, it smells primary. Every wine that you're going to be drinking that's less than 10 years old is going to have some primary fruit. So I love the comment. I get a lot of primary fruit in the nose because it sounds like I know what I'm talking about. You can steal that. And then when we put the wine in our mouth, pay attention to the way it hits your palate. We call that the attack, a bright attack, a smooth attack, a fruity attack, and then the way it sits in your mouth, we call the mid palate. It's got some nice breadth, some nice fruit. And then in the back of the palate, we talk about the finish. We talk about tannin, which kind of desiccates the palate, acidity, which kind of brightens the palate and makes our mouth water, and then the length of the finish. Short finish, medium finish, really nice persistent finish. So those are a couple things you can say when you talk about wine. But to be honest, if you're learning wine from Wes Hagen, I'm saying stop talking about wine and talk about everything that you're passionate about. Because to me, wine is about that social moment. Wine is about enjoying life, ecstasy, all those wonderful things that we don't get nearly enough of. So don't feel like you have to talk about wine. If you do need to talk about wine, don't go out on a limb. Just say that the wine is fruity, it's balanced, the wine is soft, the wine has good acidity, the wine has good fruit, or what you smell. take it easy, take it slow, and all these things will come to you. Just like anything else, the more we do it, the easier it is. So I definitely suggest to do your homework, and you can start your homework going over to the Miller Family Wine School or millerfamilywineclub.com and securing yourself a small little a shipment of wine every once in a while. It's a great way to learn, and anything that I can ever do, feel free to reach out and ask some questions. Thanks again, guys. Talk to you soon.